No chance of disliking this podcast.
Everyone, and welcome back to the Kamen Up Next podcast. We're back. We're here. I'm your co-host, Giant Robot, with my co-hosts, Jesse
Yo.
and Nick.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're talking about episodes 12 to 15 of Kamen Rider 01.
So we can jump right into it.
We can absolutely jump right into it.
But
Yeah,
before we do, just for anyone out there, if you've had a rough day, a rough hour, a rough week, which I know for us, it's been quite difficult.
In a week.
Not going to get in. Yeah, it's been a week and a bit, but I think sharing Kamen Rider and having that one day in the week where we can focus on these episodes has been just a gem. So
Absolutely.
happy to jump into this here.
Glad to be.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay.
So just like our terrible week, when we left off our 01 boys, they were in quite rough shape. Last week, when we left off at episode 11, the human gear were looking bad. Hidden intelligence was under investigation. Everything was looking rough for our protagonists. And we pick up on that. Following the attempt on Shinya Owada's life from the assassin human gear, the police and Ames launch an investigation into hidden intelligence. Their investigation initially doesn't really go anywhere, but Yaiba, who's out to get Hidden, reveals to the police that, hey, wait a second, Aruto has a secret lab over there. You guys should check that out. So then the cops storm into Aruto's office, and they try to get Aruto to open up the secret lab. When suddenly they're stopped by a detective human gear that comes out, and we find out that that's Izu's brother, Wazu, who tells Aruto that he was brought back online from his grandfather's orders. And Aruto, who's completely faithful and trustful of the human gear, puts his faith in this newly introduced character, in this newly introduced human gear, and decides to go on the run, making himself look bad in front of the police, and giving Wazu some time to investigate and figure out how to clear Hidden's name. Meanwhile, we find out that the assassin human gear, Dodo, has started to grow tired of Metsubo Jinrai's control over him and actually revolts against them. At the same time, Wazu, followed by Izu and Fua, start an investigation into what's going on with the assassin human gear. And they actually Wazu finds out actually that the assassin human gear is actually one of 5 identical dancer type human gears that were stolen. 4 of them were stolen by Metsubo Jinrai, and one of them is still out there. And he surmises that Wazu surmises that the assassin human gear is actually out to go after that last 5th assassin human gear, dancer human gear that's out there, the number 5, that lookalike. With that information, they're able to intercept him. And when 01 confronts Dodo, he has a lot of trouble fighting him because he's incredibly strong, which we'll talk about in depth when we're talking about this episode, until Izu comes back and hands him a brand new progress key. And we'll talk about that too. But that's the plot of this episode.
You has been kind of a bitch,
You were kind of,
for lack of a better word.
yeah, but kind of sucks right now.
Yeah, kind of. Obviously, she's doing it to further Zaya's goals. So it's not like you don't understand why she's doing it, but still, like, bruh, come on.
Well, she also seems like when she's interacting with guys, she doesn't seem like she always wants to do what he tells her to do.
Yeah, okay, but you saw that smug look on her face when she was like, "Oh, he's got a hidden lab." Like, she was proud of herself.
Yeah, but you know what the best part of that is?
I honestly
that
didn't see that. I'm gonna be honest, it didn't look like that to me.
Oh, it did.
The best part of her betrayal is like when Aruto's running away from Ames and the police, he actually at one point runs into Valkyrie and she like tries to stop him. Everything's like, oh, so this is how Zaya does business, right? And like jumps over her shoulder and like that was an awesome scene from Aruto though, just to be like, oh, all right, you guys are assholes.
It for sure caught her off guard. She hesitated for a second.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. If we want to really like go into different things, the first thing I actually wanted to bring up for you guys before I forget because it's something I kind of wrote down, but I wrote it down all cryptic like for myself, is that when I was looking this up, like, because when we do these synopses, like I kind of look up, the general stuff on Wikipedia, and I saw that this episode was written by someone different than the last one. So I clicked on the name, and this was a guest writer that was brought in to do this episode, and it's the main writer for Kamen Rider Double. So
that's
why there's a detective.
that's why there's a detective in it. Yeah.
It was such a good episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one and the next one.
Yeah.
That explains so much.
It explains a lot, yeah.
Actually, I loved Aruto saying that one of his jokes was the password to open the laboratory, but he forgot which one. And then we got to see the vice president do it in Arutojo Naito.
Yeah, it's funny because I think like before he did the Arutojo Naito, he was kind of like they were all kind of like looking at like Aruto's YouTube playlist of jokes and being like,
it's just like a list of jokes.
Is it this one? Is it this one? And like watching it and trying to repeat the joke. It was just hilarious.
It's good. It was really good.
Another thing that was really awesome about this episode was there's no hiding it. I'm just like an assassin / Dodo fan, and his design as like
his fully evolved design.
Oh man, that Aztec looking Dodo design was so cool.
Really
and he
cool.
was so freaking tough and strong in this episode. It was insane.
Yeah, it's so cool. His original design was like one of the worst in the series so far, but now he like became so cool.
It got better as it went, like as it evolved.
Yeah,
it got a lot better. His attack where he launches the missiles and then slashes them to make them go forward is one of the coolest things.
Yeah,
just straight up.
I mean, they're missiles though. I find it so redundant that he has to like fire them and then like guide them with the sword. But
yeah,
I mean,
but that's
I love it.
That's the best part. It just looks so cool.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when they were at the office and Aruto's just kind of I'm getting out of here. I'm hightailing it. Like he just in front of the cops just
transforms. Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell is that? This is a business suit, man. He's holding his like attaché caliber like it's his briefcase, just being like, yes, I'm going to work.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess just do that.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, it's written by the guy who wrote the main writer for Double, right?
Yeah.
In Double, they just every customer they just start henching in front of, even though it's supposed to be a secret. They don't care. So it kind of makes sense.
And then when so he escapes the police, he escapes Ames as well, and then he kind of like Batman's his way into the lab with that like elevator that we had.
They have a secret entrance. I wrote that down. Secret entrance, Pog.
That was pretty dope. Yeah. It's very Batman-esque.
Yeah, it pulls out like there's like a human gear model in the place, and it like pulls out and then Naruto shoots up.
I think we also got a really like sick transformation for Fua in this episode. Like he was following Izu and Wazoo, and like Wazoo led them to the warehouse where he found the people who were like stealing
the
human gear and who sold them to Metsuboju Nainet.
Yeah.
But so Fua's there, and the people start getting away, and he just steps in front of the truck and does his henshin and punches the truck.
Just punches the van to stop it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Very superhero moment.
Extremely cool.
I like how that sequence started too with Wazoo just like because he's a Humagear, but you don't really like think about it often, and then he just like goes full blaring siren mode, like like baits out the criminals and says, "Hey, take care of that." And Fu was just like, "All right, bang, Vulcan punch."
Yeah,
Wazoo
awesome. Is very clearly not like other Humagears. He's built differently.
He's got a lot of personality as opposed to most of the other Humagear that we've met.
There was a lot of interesting stuff with Wazoo in this episode. Just being you kind of just get introduced and you're like, okay, wow, this is a new character, and he's coming on strong with the whole "hey, I'm Izu's brother" stuff. And then we kind of like feel like Izu's perspective of like, who is this freaking guy saying he's my brother? You know?
Izu is not happy throughout this whole episode.
She's very upset.
She
Like,
was like, she actually like called up Aruto and said, "This is a freaking waste of time. This
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
defective. He doesn't even know what the hell he's doing, man."
we're definitely starting to see Izu get like more personality and
Yeah,
start being more than just a humor gear.
she's starting to develop a little bit.
I really liked Izu's like frozen robotic face when the brother reveal happened, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, like what's going on?"
Yeah,
She's
she's
just
like,
frozen there.
and then she's like, "Oh, that must be a joke." I get it.
The actress does a really good job of always having the same expression on her face all the time.
Yeah,
I have to hand it to her for that. It very
I-
rarely changes.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of her performance, and also Aruto
oh yeah,
is really like his actor is really really good at the role, man.
Yeah.
He's really good.
he's perfect.
I was mentioning the other day I saw some cast photos from I think the wrap up of the movie, and he was just like in tears just because he loved like just being a Kamen Rider so much, and he was sad that it was over. He just like loved being Aruto, so you really see that in his performance. Like he just loves being a superhero.
Yeah, you can feel it.
It just feels natural for him when he's acting because it feels real.
Yeah, it's not in this episode, but it's in the next one that Aruto does something really like subtle with like his facial expression, and it's just like really cool. We'll talk about it then. I have a whole lot of notes on Zero One's new form for this episode. So if we like, who wants to start? Because that's just really cool. We get it right at the end. We get Izu coming in with the new key that's going to save our hero from Dodo, who's just way too strong. And then we get that first henshin, and it's really dang cool. I
It's
think we need to talk about
really
it.
something. It's straight up my favorite 01. 100%.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's I mean, we're beating around the bush. It's Shining Hopper. This is the key. Is Shining Hopper. It's like they take the design of the original Rising Hopper and just crank it up to 11, and you got Shining Hopper.
Basically.
It's so nice. And the little "when I shine, darkness fades" just puts goosebumps on your arms when you hear it.
I also really like that there's two friggin' grasshoppers
Yeah.
that come beaming
Yeah.
down from the sky, one on top of the other.
There's the original one, and then it's standing on top of a much larger golden one.
A much larger one.
It's awesome.
Fantastic.
Shining jump.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. And our text to speech for that one: the rider kick increases in power by adding to brightness.
I forgot about that one. That's so good.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the pause. It goes, the rider kick increases the power by adding to brightness. There's a pause, like they put a
Good old
period in
James
it.
US.
Yeah.
It's just you mentioned it in one of the earlier episodes, Jesse, when you said that the timing of everything that they say is super on point within the henshin sequences. This one is especially the case. Your brain's still like calculating like the poor grammar in the text to speech, and all of a sudden you get hit with "when I shine, darkness fades," and you're like, "Oh yeah."
It's like, dude,
Yeah,
I just got goosebumps hearing you say that. Like, to be honest.
it's so good.
It's such a good form. It looks like lightning, like it straight up looks like he's just lightning. It looks like he's moving fast because he's got the like from the middle out, like it moves from the middle out. They all go inward from the middle. So it looks like he's moving towards you, and there's lightning like going around him with the grasshopper legs like making an X. It's so cool. His glowy eyes when he transforms. I love it. I love everything about Shining Hopper.
I adore that form. They tease us with it right at the end. We don't get to see it in action. And the weird thing is, and I actually didn't notice it the first time I watched it through, but Jesse had to point it out that Wazoo actually says, wait a second, don't use that key.
Yeah, he grabs the breaking mammoth keys. Like, use
Yeah.
this instead.
Yeah.
Use this instead. But of course, we've already seen that one. So
Yeah. And Izu's like, no, use this.
No. Because she's upset at Wazoo.
that was pretty much the end of this episode, and it kind of leans into I still think the episodes that we watched kind of lean into that two-parter formula a little bit for the subplot. Like we always have like a subplot that, at least since last week's podcast, the episodes that we've watched have been in this like two-part formula on the
Mhm.
subplot, and then we have the major plot that just develops as we go forward. But this time it was the first half of the subplot with Wazoo and Izu, and then we get the conclusion of that with the next episode that we can jump into if you guys want me to jump into that right away.
Well, before we do that, we forgot to mention that the new version of Dodo is able to make his own Dodo Magia. So not
Oh,
only
that
does
is
he
actually
create
pretty cool,
Magia,
yeah.
but they look like earlier forms of Dodo.
Yeah, his little dodos.
Yeah, he makes little dodos.
Yeah, they come in handy when he actually has to take on Jin and Hirobi to get out of
Oh yeah.
Daybreak Town
Yeah.
and escape.
You assume too they would have like some of the powers at least of earlier Dodo where they're good at learning as they fight, so they get better as they go.
I think they're just common grunts.
I don't know, they look different for a reason. I mean, it's not like a big deal. They don't stay around. You don't see them that much in the episode. We can move on to episode 13.
So episode 13, picking up exactly where we left off, we got our brand new henshin and reveal of Shining Hopper. Shining Hopper starts fighting evolved, super powerful Dodo Magia. But very quickly we discover that 01 is still no match for Dodo and winds up taking a huge hit to protect Izu in the midst of battle. As a result, Izu starts thinking, maybe I'm not qualified to be Aruto's secretary. She starts doubting herself. Meanwhile, we're still looking for the fifth dancer human gear that Assassin is based off of. Izu finally surmises that the Shining Hopper progress key didn't have enough power because she didn't have enough combat data to feed into it from Aruto's fights. So it seems like Aruto himself is stronger than the satellite Zaya gave him credit for, and so the system needs to be optimized for him and his increased power from all the fights that he's had so far.
What they say specifically is he like outperformed Zaya's calculations. So Zaya calculated that he would be at a certain power level, and he's gone beyond what Zaya thought he would be. So he's just like ruining all of this AI because he's just too strong.
It's actually also kind of funny. Like when we were watching it, I remember like my guess was it was the opposite, where his body just couldn't handle it. And I kind of likened that to in Double when Shotaro could keep up with Philip with the extreme energy. And then now hearing that this was like the writer from Double, but he twisted it, is kind of cool.
Well, it is kind of the opposite of the trope, right? Like it's usually
it subverts expectations for sure, because it's usually in these type of things where it's like, oh, my body is not strong enough, and then they have to overcome the power and to be able to use it. But straight up, they're just like, yeah, but he's just too strong.
Yeah, and I'm
like,
for it.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think specifically Dodo says the key is only 1.8 times stronger than regular 01. And Izu's like,
the incomplete one.
That's wrong. Yeah.
That's
what clues her into something being wrong.
So, in order to feed enough combat data into it, she takes all of the other progress keys that are in Aruto's possession and actually goes back and decides to feed in all the combat data from those keys and also from her own memories.
But before that, Wazoo and Izu have a conversation. And we find out that the human gear that are closely tied to the 01 like project don't have their data or memories backed up.
That's true. Unlike other human gear in the series, they actually don't have a backup because they have confidential information that can't be leaked.
So
right?
if they get destroyed, for them, that's it. They're not like the other human gear who can be rebuilt and then come back pretty much the same as they were. They're pretty much gone for good.
It's a pretty powerful thing when you think about it, because their lives, although they are robots, kind of reflect human lives. You only get one.
Yeah.
So Izu's ready to sacrifice herself to feed the combat data for the new Shining Hopper key, but Wazoo winds up taking her place, and the key winds up getting completed. Aruto receives the new key and winds up being able to defeat Assassin Human Gear once and for all, as well as clearing Hidden Intelligence name in the process. And we also get a little teaser about Guy, Amatsu Guy, and his project Thouser. He kind of hints at that.
Is that where he's like, oh, I can't wait to see him go up against Thouser, something like that?
Yeah. lots of stuff to talk about in this episode too. We have Aruto right at the beginning, 01 in his brand new form. You would think this is like a new toy that they're selling. It's gonna kick ass right away, but it's exactly the opposite of what you'd expect. And not 2 minutes into the show,
Yeah.
Shining Hopper is getting his ass handed to him. And Aruto even has that one moment where he's saying, and it's almost like a breaking the fourth wall moment, but it's not, because he's actually saying it to Dodo when he's saying, wait a second, isn't it too early for you to beat this form? Like, isn't it
Yeah.
like
Yeah. He's like, I just got this.
Yeah.
I should be beating you right now. That's how this has always worked for me. New form equals I win.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I don't think I've seen that in Kamen Rider before, where you get a new form and like quickly 2 minutes into the episode, it gets dominated.
Never.
It's a new one for me.
Another subversion of expectations.
Yeah. Again, written by someone that we knows how to subvert your expectations. So
Yeah. I have a lot of stuff to talk about actually.
Okay, here. I have a question actually that I wanted to ask.
Mhm.
When Naruto's fighting Assassin in this form, we see it like through Assassin's eyes, where like he's calculating where Naruto's gonna like show up and attack.
Mhm.
That's just a thing that like a dodo ability, right? That's not like anything to do with
I think
Naruto.
that's actually Shining Hopper's ability.
yeah, I think
Because
Shining Hopper has that.
You see that when, like, no spoilers, you see that later as well. It's so
Is it just to demonstrate how fast he is?
So what's happening? So Naruto has his mind connected to Zaya when he's using the driver.
Right, yeah.
So he is calculating all of the moves that he can perform at that moment. And he's just going so fast that he can switch which one he's doing. So Dodo can't learn fast enough because he's too fast, essentially.
Okay.
So he's like calculating like the microsecond before he makes a move, which move he should do, essentially, or what he should do.
But when we see that in the show, we're seeing it from the humor gear he's fighting, the Magia he's fighting.
We also see it as a third party viewer as well.
Okay.
It does really feel like Ultra Instinct-esque.
It really is.
To me, what it made me think of is from a book series, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. There's an ability where you can take a certain thing, and then you can see your opponent's moves that they intend to make, and then there's a way to counter it that like just shows a million different moves, so they can't counter it.
Yeah, it's like a classic like martial arts.
Yeah,
kind of like it's like a state of mind where you just let your body react. That's kind of what it is, but he's like actively calculating
it. Yeah,
the odds of what Dodo is going to do, and then he's just changing his stuff up like last second, like millisecond.
But wait, okay, now I think I'm even more confused. Wait, are we seeing it's Naruto seeing Dodo? I thought it was Naruto's movements that we were seeing.
It is Naruto's movements that we're seeing. We're seeing all the options that he can do.
He sees all his options and takes the best one.
Yeah.
And then so in the first fight, he's seeing this, but he's actually still not fast enough to beat Dodo.
Yeah, basically, like they don't explain it. He's like not fast enough. His power, like his physical power, isn't boosted as much. Like he does obviously get stronger. You see it, like muscles get bigger. Like he gets stronger.
Yeah.
It's just all around the increase is not as high as it was expected to be.
There's one thing I wanted to mention in this episode before we go into your list, Zach. We finally, 13 episodes into this series, get to see Hirobi use katana for something more than just posing.
That was one of my notes.
Yeah.
He like deflected a bullet.
Yeah. He deflected a bullet with it. I love that.
He did something with the sword.
So when Wazoo sacrificed himself to get the data, I just loved that we finally got to see. I think finally, it was only 2 episodes, but Izu acknowledged him as her brother.
Yeah.
Right before he, I guess, died.
That whole thing was a tearjerker, man. That whole sequence.
Sad.
It was Kazumi all over again.
Pretty close.
For a man that was introduced 1 episode ago, we really managed to grip us.
Yeah.
He came out strong with a lot of personality, a lot of likability. So.
Well, I mean, good on the actor to grip us after 1 episode, make us feel like I don't want to lose this man.
Yeah, 100%.
And for the growth to have been caused like on Izu's side, like for the whole like Like now we know, and it actually continues in the future episodes where she like understands family.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
starting to learn a little more.
And then also like his life flashing before his eyes like a human would, but it's like actually there and like
It's
a
actually
projection
happening. Yeah,
is
it was sweet.
effed up.
It was it was.
I mean, yeah, it's sad though.
It's sad. It's bittersweet.
It's
Yeah.
also convenient because I think Izu needed to see that. So one of my bullet points was our heroes don't negotiate with terrorists, and I think that's because
Yeah,
we had Fua and Aruto just like walking because they were like going after Dodo, and I think Jin and Hirobi came in and like, hey, we should team up to take this guy down, and they were like, hell no, we're not teaming up with you.
I
That
think
was like a thing that
Fua
happened.
might have like literally said we don't negotiate with terrorists or something.
Is this the
At least in
episode
the subtitles.
where Fua said like something about his jimmies being wrestled
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the subtitles?
yeah, the subtitles.
If anyone knows if that was just a weird translation from the subtitlers or if he said something weird in the original Japanese, let me know.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
was-
was
that was hilarious.
really weird. Yeah,
Other stuff, Fua and Aruto becoming friends, it's becoming more and more evident that these characters are coming closer and closer together. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
We had a
Yes.
few moments there where we like Fua showed some concern for an injured Aruto. And that actually leads me into my next thing is that now we have confirmation that your Kamen Rider transformation can compensate for injury.
oh
Because he
yeah.
actually tells them
Tells them
go into your 01 form to, deal with
it eases the pain a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
And if anyone would know, it would be Fua. 'cause-
Also true. Absolutely. It makes sense, right? Like it makes you stronger, like physically stronger and faster and everything. So it makes sense that
yeah.
the strain of the pain on your body would ease a little bit if you're just physically stronger.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, we had a lot of Fua just alone with Izu and Wazu,
yeah.
who are both Humagear. So it's nice to see him like chilling with Humagear and
Yeah,
not
like he's
freaking out.
he's starting to be a little more chill. Just overall
Oh
with
yeah.
Human Gear.
I actually had that as a bullet point too. Fua works with Humagears to save another Humagear.
Mm-hmm.
Was really strange because it's true. He was working with Izu and Wazu to save dancer number 5, whatever we're gonna call him.
Yeah, just number
Number
5.
five.
That's what they
Just-
call him.
Just all Humagears.
Yeah. He's coming around a little bit.
Character growth.
Another moment that was really awesome. It was an Aruto moment when he says, in the midst of combat, the only one who can surpass me is me.
Yes.
That was so sick.
That was my my last not that specifically, but my last thing was my note is that Aruto is so cool, but it's specifically for the moment while he's at the towards the end while he's fighting Dodo, and he gets like knocked out of his transformation and he's beat up. He's waiting for Izu to come back, and Dodo's like, "I'm gonna kill you now," and Aruto is just like, "I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna beat you." And he's like on the floor, like injured, like bleeding, and Aruto's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna beat you. Like, let's be real here." It's just like he's so cool. He's so freaking cool.
I mean, that's exactly the moment where I was like, Aruto's actor is really, really good because how do you like play that emotionally when Izu hands you the newly finished progress key and tells you, by the way, my brother gave his life for this.
Yeah.
So that you can do this. And then Aruto's face was like the perfect like grief, gratitude, concern. Like he had like all those emotions in his face, and he's like, I'm gonna take this key and I'm gonna beat this guy. Like
Yeah.
it was all on his face written there. You didn't even have to say a word. You can just read it off his face, and that's what was just so magical about that performance, I think.
Naruto, he's like, I think exceptional even when it comes to Kamen Riders. He has a respect for life that just a lot of characters in general I find don't have. Even characters in other media or other Kamen Riders who lost family or whatever, like he just has this like respect for human life, the human gear life, his own life. Like he's reckless, but he's reckless in a way where he knows that nothing bad is going to happen to him. Like he keeps running into fights when he's injured, but that's because he knows that he has to fight, but he also knows that he has to win. So he just has like he doesn't like put himself in danger where he thinks that he's actually going to lose his life. He's always confident that he's going to live, and I think that is like just like a step above other heroes who do sort of the same thing, but they're always like they always just like are like other people's lives are more important than my own. So they like throw their lives away like multiple times, but he has just like nice balance of literally everybody's life is meaningful and worth something, which I admire a lot.
I find like the other characters that are similar like that can oftentimes be like obnoxious to like
Yeah.
the extent that they go to trying to protect lives and
Yeah.
how and be like that. But Naruto finds like just the perfect balance and
Yeah.
like it feels right.
They're usually just too reckless. And it gets obnoxious because you get it, but also it's like there's better ways of handling this, but Naruto definitely has like that sweet spot of understanding like what's happening. He's pretty exceptional in my mind when it comes to like heroes in that regard.
As far as main rider goes, he's one of my favorites so far.
Yeah,
he hasn't done anything
straight up
to annoy me like some of the others have.
By a mile, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
Like in Build, Sento had like that whole period where he didn't want to fight because of things that he did. That was the worst arc, you know. Like I don't want that with Naruto, but I don't foresee Naruto having those kind of problems because he's so well rounded and balanced.
This is where I have the note Yaiba kind of sucks.
Yeah, Aiba does kind of suck right now.
And
I don't dislike her, but I dislike some of the things she's doing and the way she acts.
yeah,
It's kind of weird to explain. Like
no, I
normally
get
a
it.
character like that, I would like be like, "Oh, you bitch! Why I hate you? Why are you doing this?" But it's like I don't hate her. I understand what she's doing. I don't like it.
For Yaiba, I feel like she's just like one redemption moment or like one quick thing away from completely turning around her character.
I expect it's gonna happen at some point. Probably when we get to see Bowser at some point, somewhere around then, maybe she'll realize.
I hope
Maybe.
so.
I'm
I
not
hope so.
saying anything.
I won't tell.
The only other note I have that we didn't talk about is how cool the group henshin was. When
That was awesome.
When the two Aims and Naruto showed up and they all transformed together, was super cool, fun to watch.
I'm loving that. Every time it happens, I absolutely love that.
Naruto's is also way flashier than the other two's because he has the actual grasshopper like come down from the sky while the other two just have the bullet fly around them and do whatever.
Oh yeah, they don't have that. I didn't.
It's just the bullet that like expands into the
because the Force Risers do have the animal or whatever show up.
Yes,
but not the Shot Risers.
So I think what it is that the 01 driver is connected to Zaya. The Force Risers are connected to Arc.
That makes sense.
The Shot Risers aren't connected to anything, so that's probably like why. Is my guess.
Yeah,
I don't.
They're their own thing.
They haven't talked about
sense.
it. It's whatever, but that's like what I've noticed. There's no like satellite or AI connected to the Shot Risers.
That was pretty much the end of our 2-episode arc with Izu and Wazu.
Yeah.
And we move on to some new characters that are going to get introduced starting from episode 14. So we open with what was, I think, Jesse's favorite opening with two astronauts in space that we find out are Human Gear brothers. I don't want to mispronounce their names, Raiden and Subaru.
Yes.
Who are docking the motorcycle manually into the satellite, and they get pissed because Naruto just beams it as they're trying to dock it, and they get pissed, so they storm into Naruto's office to be like, what the hell, you're using your bike outside of work hours, we maintain that thing like, you know, manually. And to make Naruto understand just how hard he's making their jobs, they actually take him on a field trip to their space development center to show him how everything works. And at the same time, Yaiba pretty much concludes that Metsubo Jinrai has a spy, a mole within Hidden Intelligence, just based on their ability to locate human gears that are reaching singularity the way that they do. At the same time, the Metsubo Jinrai boys decide to move forward with their plans and to retrieve all the progress keys so that they can reactivate the ARC satellite, which results in their spy being exposed, which we find out is one of the satellite brothers, Raiden, and he becomes a Kamen Rider. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I
And
think
also,
we skipped-
Fua also
skipped-
gets new powers.
yeah. We skipped the important step of them showing up at the space center, the Metsubojinrai, and like trying to, or at least appearing like they're trying to hack the one of the Space Brothers, but he's just literally too mad to get hacked.
So we actually skipped more than that. When Yaiba concludes that, or they're doing the investigation, we find out that there's members of Metsubojinrai missing because the different parts of Metsubojinrai are different parts of their names.
Yeah, I have those things as bullet points. So we find out
Okay.
that Metsubojinrai
That
actually
happens, like,
breaks
right
up
at the beginning
into.
of the episode.
Yeah, we find out that it actually breaks up into the different kanji: Metsu, Bo, Jin, and Rai.
Yeah.
And we know that Metsu kind of goes with Hirobi and Jin kind of goes with Jin.
Yeah.
So then there's the Bo and the Rai, which could be different Metsubojin Rai members that we don't know of yet. We actually find out that Rai is Thunder, is Ikazuchi, which
Yeah.
winds up being Raiden.
So Raiden's true name, we find out when they attack at the Space Center, is Ikazuchi.
So we find that out because when he attempted to hack Raiden, but it appeared like he failed. He had actually like subconsciously made him bring everyone down over to Daybreak Town
Yeah.
to like investigate. Then that's where Jin showed up. He's like, yeah, he was a spy all along. He just didn't know it because we were using him.
He's very angry.
He is very, very angry.
He and Fua fight because they're both angry and they have to see who is the angrier of the two.
They're at like the observatory or whatever room,
Yeah.
the like constellation room, and to try to cheer them up, Aruto does one of his jokes, and Fua just like walks away and hides his face, and he's like, "It's no time for jokes right now."
The best part of that was Izu, who like noticed he was trying not to laugh and was like trying to get him to laugh.
She starts like
Just trolling
explaining the
him.
joke.
Yeah.
I love Fua.
So we didn't mention Raiden or Ikazuchi is also a older generation human gear, so he has different ear modules, and we also find out that he survived the explosion at Daybreak.
Was he? Did they say he was there? I thought they like turned him off during Daybreak.
He was supposed to launch into space on the day of Daybreak.
Oh, okay. I might have missed that. I know that
Yeah.
he survived Daybreak somehow.
Yeah, he was kept around to train the newer generation of
Right.
of
Which is
boys.
which is what he's doing. He's training Subaru to be
his brother
the-
Subaru.
his brother. Yeah.
I love the idea of the humor gear having like siblings.
This is the episode where Aruto explains to Subaru and Izu that he considers all Humagear his family because his grandfather made them, so they're all his family.
And he was raised by one. His dad was a
and he was raised by a Humagear. It makes sense that it would kind of be like sort of programmed into the Humagear to feel like they have family or like they have familial relationships with other Humagear. It makes sense.
I also love that he's like programmed to be angry because they feel like he'll be. It makes him better at teaching
Yeah.
the humor gear how to do their job.
Raiden was really great. He was really fun to watch.
Yeah, you guys covered a lot of the Raiden stuff that I was going to talk about. I had Raiden too pissed to be hacked.
Yeah.
Fua and Raiden are a couple of pissed boyos.
Yeah. Can
We
he out
covered
anger
both of those
Fua?
things. Yeah.
Raiden
Yeah.
too angry to get hacked. Fua needs to be even angrier.
I guess we already briefly talked about how ridiculous it is to manually dock the bike on the satellite
Yeah,
every single
it's
time
my
it happens.
favorite thing.
It's such a
though.
waste of money to relaunch that bike into the. Why is there only one? Why aren't there like, at least several?
I assumed it like gets beamed down like the grasshopper when he
Yeah.
tensions and
Yeah,
then
that's
just
the thing.
beam back up.
Yeah.
In a show where it's shown that you have the ability to beam things everywhere. to have to manually dock this thing is hilarious.
They literally were like, okay, we need to have this space guy. How do we get him and Autoto to interact? There's only one bike and they have to manually dock it. That's it. It's like the first thing that popped into their head. They were like, that's what we're going with.
My next bullet point is probably because I'm an Assassin fanboy, but my bullet point was I wanted a Dodo Kamen Rider, but not like this.
Yeah, we can talk about that. There was a scene, I think, before that happened, because it's before it in my notes, where Gaia's talking to Yaiba, and it seems like he has connections to the arc because he keeps talking about how things are going like according to plan, and he keeps talking about the arc, and he mentions the legend of the Kamen Rider. Like, he's super like cryptic and vague about everything. Like, he knows what's going on and he's like working behind the scenes or something. He's a real jerk.
He's also obsessed with like thousands and stuff. He's like, my progress is at 999%.
He's obsessed with the number 1000.
Yeah, his latest project is Thouser. So
yeah, his
in case we haven't pieced it together, right?
He is obsessed with the number 1000.
So they go down to Daybreak Town, right? And then that's when Jin shows up and reveals that he's a spy all along. Which key does he gives him the Dodo key? I don't remember.
It was the Dodo key.
He gives him
the Dodo key, makes him corrupts him, and gives him a Force Riser. He becomes the Dodo Magia.
Kamen Rider looking Dodo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not a Force Riser, so he's like a Kamen Rider Dodo.
It's Kamen Rider,
And he kicks cool everyone's ass.
Yeah.
And then gets all their keys, where he starts putting them in his belt. And once he puts all the keys in the belt, that activates Arc.
Yeah.
And then once Arc activates, it creates a new key that like one of them's holding, I think, and then I don't remember exactly what happens.
Hirobi comes out with it. Hirobi's holding it, and it gets knocked out of his hands.
Yeah, it gets shot out of his hands. Yeah, by Aruto, I think.
Yeah, and then Fua rushes to grab it. And he sees it, and it's got a wolf on it, and he goes, "This has a wolf on it. It's mine by default."
Yeah, he claims anything that has a wolf on it because his base key is a wolf. So anything with a wolf,
he's a wolf boy.
Is him. So I want to say, Dodo's finisher is called Purgatorial Thunderstorm.
That's pretty cool.
And it's the coolest name I think that I've heard so far.
It's super fitting with the other Force Riser finishers.
Yeah, like Hirobi's is Sting Dystopia. And I mean, Thunderstorm, he's Ikazuchi's Thunder guy.
Yeah, he's Thunder.
It's perfect.
I'm just really sad that my assassin got the shaft, man. I mean, we got so much character development for Assassin for like a full straight 4 episodes, and then he gets defeated like a regular Toku villain.
I wouldn't say character development. He's straight up. We knew he only existed to evolve the key.
He got a lot of development, but then when at the end he just became like he lost all his personality once he got that last form.
He just became like a stereotypical Toku villain and got defeated by the good guys in the end, which kind of sucked because that's just my bias because I absolutely loved him. Okay, this is just me saying I would have loved it if Assassin was here in his place.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that he it was pretty clear from the beginning he was just there. Hirobi just wanted him to work on that key and make that key better.
I wanted an Assassin redemption arc, but oh well. So yeah, Fua gets that key, and then Hirobi's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's designed to only work for Human Gear. You can't use it." And Fua's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I can open anything as long as I'm angry enough." And he just angers it open like he does.
Yeah, he just angers it again.
Yeah, my note for that was Fua is the Force Riser.
I was so happy that we got to see an upgraded form for Fua finally. It felt like he was starting to lag behind everyone else. And now we got Assault Wolf. Assault Wolf.
Now we just need Valkyrie to get an upgrade again.
It also changes his like the sounds that his stuff makes. It says Assault Bullet now.
Assault Bullet.
Assault Bullet. And instead of authorize, it's override.
Which is weird because it always has rise. It's kind of cursed.
What was it? Not over Rise?
It might have been over Rise.
I think it was over Rise.
It was the subtitles had it as Override.
Was it? I thought it was. I thought I heard Overrise anyway. I thought it was a play on Override, but that they just love the word rise, so they threw it in there.
In any case, he gets this new form and he kicks everyone's ass because he's a badass.
Its text to speech is no chance of surviving, which is like ominous and also incomplete somehow.
Yeah, it feels like it's the shortest one we've had, and it just feels wrong.
Yeah. We see it. At least one of the finishers is just called Buster Duster. I think with one of the attaches. I don't remember.
It's the
authorized Buster.
The new one that Izu brought. It's like a big ass gun.
Oh right, I have. Yeah, authorized Buster is cool. Yeah, that's right. It's the Buster Duster. Yeah.
Buster Duster. Assault Buster Duster or something.
Yeah. So I think he beats Fuwa, fights Ikazuchi, this Kamen Rider Dodo seemingly beats him, and then his transformation just kind of gives out. He starts coughing up blood, and essentially like definitely not good for his body to be using that key.
Yeah. Oh, we got a really brutal just blood splatter out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Once he de-henshin.
Yeah. And he just kind of like stumbles away, like pissed off. He's like, "All right, I'm too mad."
Yeah, they all cheesed it.
Yeah, I think Metsubojinrai cheesed it, so he cheesed it because he was mad. But he had beat at least one of them. He beat Raiden or Ikazuchi. And then later on, we see Hirobi and Jin are together, and Jin is complaining that he feels weird. He doesn't understand what's going on, and Hirobi tells him that he's getting close to reaching singularity, which is pretty scary.
The funny thing about Jin's singularity, I find, is that like I didn't piece it together until just now, but he was close to reaching singularity early on too, when he was gonna like help out. The guy that was protecting his like human gear, like revived dog. Yeah, so he was getting close there, and then Hirobi was like, "No, you're not reaching singularity like this," and they reset him. So it's not just that he wants Jin to reach singularity, but he wants him to reach singularity a specific way with like a hatred of humans.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting.
And, it's also clear that this is apparently the will of the arc. Like obviously Hirobi does everything for the arc. So
everything Hirobi does is the will of the arc.
Arc has some sort of plans for Jin, I guess. That's it for that episode.
Yeah, that's how that episode ends. We can move on to episode 15.
All right, so picking up from all that fun stuff that we discussed, Ames now decides to raid Metsubojinrai's lair in Daybreak because of Arc's reactivation. That's just a powerful thing. They need to stop that. And we get a lot of kind of play on family and death and like the importance of, remembering lost ones and things like that. So we see Aruto visiting some graves, his parents' graves. He has a realization about human gears. And then he finds out that Metsubojinrai is doing stuff. They basically get into a huge confrontation. So our protagonists get into a huge confrontation with Metsubojinrai, the Ames folks, with Aruto and everybody. And they actually deal a huge blow to Metsubojinrai. Hirobi winds up sacrificing himself to protect Jin. Jin is devastated by that and starts seeking vengeance against the humans. So I think he awakens his singularity. But that's basically the gist of the episode. I mean, I obviously skipped through a lot of details, but we can talk through those things.
So the beginning is it's Ames. They plan to attack Metsubojinrai directly. I think that's how the episode starts. Is they're planning the attack, and then we see they talk about it for a bit. Fuwa is like injured as all hell, and then we cut to Jin making graves for Assassin and Ikazuchi, and he buries the dodo key in the graves, and it's like sad, and Hirobi's like sort of happy about it because it's him getting closer to his singularity. He's learning about, he looked up like how to like treat your fallen friends or whatever.
But at the same time, he's like, dude, stop being a filthy human and doing this.
He's like, listen, Also, I need this key.
But well, he's like, you're acting like a human.
No,
Stop
I
it.
know, but
Yeah.
he specifically goes for the key. Right, we do that, and then we cut. I think directly we cut to Aruto, Izu, and Subaru at
Subaru.
the Hiden family grave, and that's I was talking about earlier, where Aruto says that he considers all of the human gears as his family.
Yeah, I think that's also where Subaru is like, oh, he's trying to say that it didn't matter that his brother died because of his humor gear, and
Yeah.
Izu's like, no, family is important.
Yeah.
Because she now understands
I have
what family is.
have a note, and I don't remember the context, and I'm very
Hit me.
upset. It's just in quotations, parts of him.
Yeah, I don't know idea.
I don't remember what.
That's a whole other level of notes.
It's between Hiden family grave and Aruto considers Himegiri as his family. So they were talking maybe about there's parts of his grandfather in all of the Himegiri.
Maybe.
Maybe. Something like that. It's weird and I don't know what it means anymore. I wish I'd put more context.
I wish I could decipher that, but I can't.
I'd have to watch the scene again. Unfortunately.
So is it during this scene that at one point Izu's just like, oh, Ames has just mobilized all their forces and then they like rush
Yeah.
away to go
Mhm.
take part in the fight?
Yeah, my next note is Fuwa's still so mad.
He is the
He's-
mad boy, forever mad.
He's forever mad.
So
Yeah,
they go fight.
they go
right?
fight
And
him, yeah.
It's Haruto, Fua, and Yaiba against Hirobi and Jin, right?
Well, at first it's just Fuwa
Oh, yeah.
and Yaiba against
Right. It's
everyone.
Fua in Assault Wolf form versus Jin, and
Yeah.
Yaiba taking on Hirobi, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
backwards, I think, because Assault Wolf is clearly stronger than everyone else at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, the heat of the moment, you can't necessarily choose who you're fighting.
True.
Although I do have to say that it seems like forever since Valkyrie hasn't been shit on by whoever she's fighting.
She's getting destroyed every time. She needs an upgrade too.
So, yeah.
I think it's one of them. It's probably Fuwa because he's still super hurt. He starts getting in trouble. He can't fight properly because he's already super injured. And then Aruto shows up to save him, I believe.
Yeah, and starts fighting Jin.
Yeah.
And then so Aruto's fighting him, and I think that's when Fua like finds an opening to use his finisher on Jin. And we get a nice moment of like Hirobi, like his like inner monologue, whenever he sees Fua going at Jin, and he like connects to the arc and like
Yeah.
is like, oh really? Okay, sure.
I
The arc
guess so.
wants me to do this, and he goes and sacks his life.
Yeah.
Because
Save
the arc
Jin.
told him to.
Mhm. I have 2 finishers listed here. I
Yeah,
have
go.
0-1 Dust.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And-
that's when Naruto used the duster.
Right.
The Dustbuster. Yeah.
I then also have Magnetic Storm Blast Fever, which I assume is
That's
Assault
Fua's.
Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I just like the name Magnetic Storm Blast Fever. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Boy,
Sick.
is it a magnetic storm blast fever though, because it does some damage. Let me
I
tell
mean,
you.
Yeah.
You can tell it was pretty strong the way it just iced Hirobi, who
Yeah, who is
notably
Completely,
super strong up until right now.
completely dehensions him.
Yeah. He's got
Visible
like,
damage.
yeah, you see the human gear parts under his skin.
we get a messed up scene after that where like Jin's like at Hirobi's body or whatever, like not having a good time, and like Izu shows up and is like laughing or smiling or something.
She's smiling, but she's like in permanent smile. It's just a regular
Yeah,
face.
And then Jin's like, "How could you smile when a human gear just got killed?" And
Takes
then
it personally.
he and he took that personally. Like launched a wire into her stomach. And
Yeah.
really badly damaged her. Of course, Aruto freaked out about that for a long while.
Freaked out.
Aruto was enraged, and again, another amazing moment from that actor where you could see, this is a man that tells jokes for a living. He's not joking around anymore. He's pissed.
He's mad.
And when they take Izu back to the secret lair, and then you have like the rest of the board members that come
I
in.
was so mad.
Oh man, that was gut wrenching.
He's mourning Izu, and they're like, "Listen, I don't give a heck. We're gonna kick you out of this company."
Yeah, they're like, well, we're organizing a board meeting for tomorrow to kick you out, and they walked away, and they're like,
It's
fuck off.
it doesn't like to me it doesn't make sense, right? I know he wants to be like the vice president. He wants to be the president. He wants to own the company, whatever. But like that means he has to 0-1 and like
Yeah,
it's like doing this means no more 0-1, which means no more hero to save your company. It's like how dumb are you?
But he also doesn't care. I mean, like when
making bad decisions is like
Oh,
a theme
terrible.
with him. He keeps making bad decisions
yeah,
over
he's really
and
bad.
over and over again.
he even goes out of his way to be like, so what? She's like out of commission. Just replace her with another model.
Yeah,
Like
it's
like
like-
the human gears are just like a Roomba vacuum to him. Like they're no different.
Yeah, exactly. I hate him.
I hate him so much.
He's so bad. One of my my notes is vice president is a fucking idiot. So yeah.
So they're there. Subaru's there too, and he's like also kind of learning the importance of like family now.
Yeah, he's also
I
changing.
kind of think he's awakened. No,
No.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I
No,
think he's just like learning.
he's starting on his journey, like kind of like Izu is.
So
I
he
probably
tells.
had a moment where his eyes just lit up and it was like, boom,
Well,
singularity.
No.
I don't
Because
think so.
Izu had the same exact thing happen to her at the same
Yeah.
time. It was when they
So
were at the
Naruto-
grave.
Yeah. So Aruto's obviously freaking out. He doesn't know what to do with Izu. And Subaru tells him like, put her in the satellite Zeta and it can repair her.
In the little thingy that makes the keys.
The
yeah.
printer, the
Yeah,
satellite
the
Zeta
printer,
printer.
that's it.
So he leaves her there, but it's taking time. And then he gets like a Subaru actually like notifies him that there's like an attack going down.
Yeah, Subaru coming in clutch, being a last minute, not replacement, but a last minute substitute for Izu.
Substitute assistant, yeah.
Yeah. I have this note, Fua just kind of stupid sometimes.
It's because he gets
It's because
he's like beat up and he
he's
tries to hand.
literally on an IV drip.
Yeah.
And
he's
then
like, oh, I'm going to fight.
he goes to intercept Jin, who just watched Hirobi die in his arms,
Yeah.
reached
Yeah.
singularity at that moment, and decided
Jin-
he needs to take it out on the humans. So he launches an
Jin
attack.
brought Hirobi back to Ark. He's like, oh, well, I'll have Ark save you. It's okay. And Hirobi's like, nah,
Nah.
this is the will of the Ark. And then dies.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't mention, but Fua is very, very proud of him for taking out one of Metsubo Jinrai. Very
Yeah.
proud of himself.
Yeah.
Like, I took him out. I'll do it again.
Yeah. It's his life goal, right? Is to get back at whoever caused Daybreak, and so he killed or defeated one of the Metsubo Jinrai who caused Daybreak. And
I guess he got two of them. He got Ikazuchi too. That kind of counts.
yeah, that's true.
Technically.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I like at this point, like I said, he's literally on an IV, and he still goes to fight. He
Yeah.
still transforms into a salt wolf, and then
And, like,
gets absolutely shit wrecked.
Immediately gets himself destroyed.
Yeah,
It just like grunts by just like the lowest
Yeah,
level
he
magia
just
imaginable.
cannot fight, and then he gets knocked over. He loses his transformation. His ki goes flying, and then we see Aruto standing like at the top of some stairs on top of everybody, and he gives a speech to Jin, telling him like, you got mad at Izu for being happy or whatever that Hirobi got hurt, but then you also hurt a Humagear, so how are Humagears your friends if you're
He hurts
also
all
hurting Humagear?
All these Humagear he transforms into grunts. He hurts them.
Yeah, exactly. And then he picks up the assault wolf key, takes off the little
Trigger.
that's on the end of it, and puts it on his shining hopper key, and then he transforms into shining assault hopper right at the end of the episode.
Which,
Oh,
as a
wait.
form, we've only seen it briefly. It really does look like just a fusion form between Assault Wolf and Shining Hopper. It really looks like they just took both of those forms and said, Dragon Ball Z fusion, ha. And
It
those
basically
two forms are combined.
it kind of takes the additions that they added to regular shooting wolf with the assault thing and then puts them on Shining Hopper.
I forgot that we didn't get to actually see it fight, but we did get its text to speech, which now feels complete
Yeah.
because it's no chance of surviving this shot.
But it still feels like that text to speech belongs to Fua. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The shoot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely it doesn't fit Aruto at all.
No.
But it does fit his anger that he's having right now.
Yeah, he is very mad.
Aruto is very angry right now.
Another really cool thing I noticed about that henshin is like, because the Assault Wolf key was made by Arc,
Mhm.
and the Shining Hopper key was made by Zaya. And when that henshin happened, I think you got the beams from both satellites
Yeah, I
to
think
make
so.
that form.
I think so. I'd have to watch it again to see to make sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So it's like a combination of both those kind of worlds coming together, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and you think about it, right? Like he's got like maybe not. Like the fact that all of his progress keys are compatible with the Force Riser, if you think about it, is kind of weird. The fact that his Shining Hopper key is compatible with the Assault add-on is weird because the Force Risers and the Assault thing were made by the Arc. So you'd think they were incompatible, but they are.
Yeah, like Zaya's stuff is not compatible
Yeah,
with Arc stuff,
You'd
but
think they would be incompatible, but they work together. Seemingly, I guess we don't know yet, but seemingly better than it works with the Shot Riser. Anyway,
You do say that, but also it's kind of a theme in Kamen Rider where like the rider uses the same technology or whatever that comes from the bad guys, but uses it for good.
yeah,
Right?
and I mean it sort of makes sense because we do know that the keys that they're putting in the Zetsume Risers or the Zetsumetsu Risers are older, like are different, like broken or whatever versions of keys that they were making earlier. But still, like it's older technology working. I guess it makes sense. I don't know. It's just like a point of interest. I think that the two like different things are compatible with each other, even though seemingly they're made by different like manufacturers. So,
well, part of the henshin call actually calls to that too, because I was like looking at it, and we get the, Shining Assault Hopper's transformation jingle. So he starts with hyper jump,
yeah,
and then over rise, which is the Assault Wolf thing,
yeah,
prog rise, all those things together. Warning, warning, this is not a
this
test.
is not a test. Yeah,
Then hybrid rise
right. That totally makes sense. Hybrid, Zaya, and Arc.
and arc.
Yeah.
Shining Assault Hopper, no chance of surviving this shot. So it actually does kind of conflict in the henshin itself, that it's like
They're like, this is kind of not supposed to be how this works, but it's cool. I can't wait to see the actual fight with Shining Assault Hopper again.
How is Jin gonna survive this? I wonder, honestly.
My assumption going forward is he's not. I think Aruto is gonna ice Jin, and that's when Thousand is gonna come into play as the new bad guy. That's my guess.
Yeah, we also got some guy moments in here
Guy-
too, just like
Guy sucks.
Guy sucks.
yeah, he's just there scheming in the background, being like, I'm at 999%.
The thing that annoys me about it the most, I think, is he's not actionable. Like he's not like actually doing anything other than like the asshole stuff that he has Yaiba do. He's just capitalizing on like, oh, Hiden is like looking bad in the media. Oh, I guess I'm gonna offer to buy Hiden because their reputation's tanking. Oh, the Arc is doing stuff. I'm gonna get those keys that Aruto keeps letting go when he destroys them. Like he's not like actually doing anything. He's just like fucking piecing shit together from stuff that Aruto or that Hiden and Metsubojin Rai like do or leave behind.
I agree 1,000%.
1,000%.
To be fair, also makes sense because he's not the president of Zaya. He's the CEO of Zaya Japan. Like he's just the branch president. You know
he's
what I mean?
still the worst.
And no, he sucks,
Yeah.
but he's not like Aruto is the president of Hiden.
Yeah.
Guy is
For
just
now.
the president of this part of the company. He doesn't own like the company or anything. He has a boss. Is it? I don't know. I guess that like it's part of his personality. It lines up because he's also just like riding off somebody else's success to be president of Zaya Japan.
Yeah, I think the moment I started hating Guy was when he like brought in Aruto to his office to talk to him, and then he reskinned his office to show off his fancy technology, and I was like, all right, screw this guy.
Yeah. He's
I-
got some Pandora's box technology in there.
I think the moment I started hating Guy was the first moment that I saw his freaking face. As soon as they showed his face, I was like, I don't like this guy at all.
He's got a very punchable
He
face.
has a super punchable face.
I think that about wraps up
That's
this episode.
yeah, that's the end of episode 15. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the episodes or 01 in general or Kamen Rider in general?
It's a big old double thumbs up.
Double
Same here.
double thumbs.
Ready for the next 4 episodes already. Feels like it's been forever since we watched some.
I think I say it every week, but 01 is probably like my favorite Kamen Rider season. I love it so much.
It's good so far.
I just love everything about it. So
I'm enthralled. I
Yeah.
can't wait for next week.
it's so good. All right. I guess we're going to call it there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're watching this live, it's going up on YouTube next week on Thursday. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And comment.
And comment. B, we film these live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/agiantrobot every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested, you can watch us live. You guys have any things you want to say?
That about does it. Come join us in on the conversation if you're able to on Sundays.
Absolutely.
Peace, everybody.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch everybody next week.